Man, I put out a short highlighting LeBron's double dribble followed by a travel, and I thought it spoke for itself. That's why it was so short, and it was just pointing to a longer video. And it's really disturbing to see that people really don't know what the rules are anymore. The NBA has allowed so much that those watching now think that illegal moves are legal moves, or have just invented things that never existed and still don't exist while insisting that they do exist. I am not letting it go this time. I am putting your stupidity on full display because it's not harmless stupidity. You guys are actually showing that you don't know basketball anymore and you are trying to miseducate the rest of the world, and it's all in defense of your idol, LeBron James. You guys keep lowering your expectations of pro athletes or just the behavior of a respectable adult in order to accommodate him. And when I'm unfortunate enough to have to share the basketball court with some of these LeBron generation kids, I see them often just start arguing in the middle of the game. Neither one is arguing correctly. Neither one of them knows the rules when they start arguing. And they end it with, well, shoot for it. I'm like, no, you're wrong. You don't get the right to shoot for possession of the ball when you violated a rule. Rules are rules. You don't get to cry like a baby until someone gives in to you. But you do now. And we got to go over some of these comments that video got. I admit it. I feel stupid spending this much time on this topic. I wanted to move on. I hope this helps somebody understand what the actual rules of basketball are. Here we go. Without even meaning to, I also uncovered evidence that these LeBron fans don't watch the actual game because some of them base their argument just on my edit. And my edit was trying to emphasize that he threw the ball off of his own heel and then he started over. But because I was trying to emphasize certain points, maybe they didn't get a long, hard enough look at the fact that the dribbling itself comes to an end and starts again, because they think that he dribbled it off of his foot back into his hand or something, as if it was some sort of super cool new dribbling technique. No. Let's look at that first. Okay, let's start here. There's where he dribbles it off of his own heel. Now watch this part. It's an indication of how long he has lost his dribble. That the ball actually bounces again before he even touches it. Now there is no specific wording, at least that I've been able to find, saying that a ball can't bounce twice between dribbles. But that's not the reason I'm showing it. I'm showing the amount of time that went by before LeBron James gets his hand back on a ball that he lost due to hitting it unintentionally off his back heel. Now, those of you who defended LeBron James by saying, he lost the ball, bro. It's called losing the ball. It's called losing possession. You can start dribbling again afterward. Please post a video of yourselves showing your faces saying that. We agree on one thing. He lost possession, but that's not good news for you fanboys. All right, so there LeBron touches the ball again. Let's move on to the discussion of possession, because some of you said, in his defense, mind you, that he lost possession of the ball, as if that means it's okay for you to continue dribbling. Hey man, he lost possession. What are you talking about? Are you actually telling me that the rules are in the favor of a dribbler who can't maintain possession of the ball? Where are you guys going to draw the line? The rule book supposedly rewards people for being bad ball handlers? That's what you're telling me? It's okay. You fucked up your dribble. Just keep going. As long as it was a fuck up, as long as we're all in agreement that you're incapable of keeping possession of the ball while trying to dribble, okay. How loose are these rules gonna get in terms of making excuses for poor ball handling? Why don't we just turn this into team handball and let them run up and down the court and throw the ball at the hoop? Please quote the rule that you are referring to that says the dribbler is allowed to lose possession and then regain possession. Does the amount of time in between losing possession matter in this imaginary world of yours, by the way? I'm just curious, because you guys are like filling in the blanks of this bullshit as you go. So in your world, how does the rest of that rule go? He can lose possession for a good 1, 2, 10 seconds as long as he regains possession. Let me guess. Next, you can dribble, then roll the ball a few feet, just for variety, and then start dribbling again. Now, if we are done entertaining your fantasy world, let's look at what NBA official says. Or maybe you just think the NBA official needs to be updated to match LeBron's skills. When may a player dribble a second time if he lost control of the ball? Let's look at situations where that's allowed. Section 2 on dribbling. E. A player may dribble a second time if he lost control of the ball because of 1. A field goal attempt at his basket, provided the ball touches the backboard or the ring. 2. An opponent touching the ball. 3. A pass or fumble which touches his backboard, basket ring, or is touched by another player. Where does it say he can fumble it off of his own foot, let it bounce twice, and then start over? Fanboys, I know this screen is probably hurting your eyes since you've never looked at the rule book before. It's like sunlight for vampires, but squint your eyes and show me where in the list of scenarios that it says it's acceptable, dribbling off of your heel was one of those options. Now let's do some hand holding, because unfortunately the rule book leaves a little sentence here that could confuse people if you don't read everything. A player may not dribble a second time after he has voluntarily ended his first dribble. Now, some people might say, well, what if it was involuntary? Well, we actually covered that. You cannot start again unless it has touched his backboard, his basket ring, or another player. Also, a player may not bring the ball to a pause and then continue to dribble again. A player shall not run with the ball without dribbling it. Amazingly, LeBron provides an example of all of these in one play. Let's keep on with this topic of control and whether or not losing control of the ball is actually a good thing. The dribble ends when, again, we're under NBA official, ends when the dribbler touches the ball simultaneously with both hands, permits the ball to come to a rest while he's in control of it. Now hang in there. Tries for a field goal, throws a pass, touches the ball more than once while dribbling before it touches the floor. 6, loses control. 7, allows the ball to become dead, otherwise gathers the ball, and then you have to go to the whole gather thing. Number 2 specifically points out that the dribble comes to an end if you bring the ball to a pause while in control of it. Now, they're just covering every possible scenario when they specify that, because you come down to number 6, and they also say the dribble comes to an end when you lose control of the ball. So did LeBron James lose control of the ball? Are you telling me that it was his intention to dribble it off of its heel, let it bounce twice before he dribbled it again, That was all part of the plan. That was not a loss of control. Now, because you LeBron fans flip-flop worse than a politician, may I remind you that first you argued on his behalf that he lost control. Now I'm showing you the rules say you are not allowed to dribble again after you lost control of your dribble. So you want to go back on your original argument? Because now, if you're saying that he didn't lose control and this was all part of the plan, you are saying that without even looking, he intentionally dribbled it off of his back foot, skidded to a halt, had to reach behind him to find the ball that managed to bounce twice before his hand found the ball, and then continue, because it was all part of the plan. Let's make this anonymous, because I know you get really hurt that we criticize LeBron James for cheating the game. So let's pretend that this is someone else cheating the game, and just put a smiley face there. Whoever you need it to be, can we now agree that he lost control of the ball? He has lost control of the ball, which means that the dribble has come to an end, which brings us to the next problem. With both feet planted, I repeat, both feet are planted on the ground, LeBron begins to gather the ball, which would be a gather step with both feet if you are saying that he is in fact gathering the ball here, which he does with his palm underneath of it, while also using his stomach to regain control. He's using his forearm, stomach, and palm to regain control of the ball here, which is absurd enough by itself. Now let's just entertain the idea that this was all part of the original dribble. Are you fanboys also, in addition to saying that he didn't lose the dribble, claiming that this is a legal move? Let me pan up in that same still frame to show you that now that right leg is lifting. Remember the previous frame I showed you that both feet were planted. Now, as he is bringing the ball to a rest against his stomach, he takes another step. Now look at the back foot, the left foot. Let me play that again. He is the king of doing the double foot move. That does not make it legal. And now he is finally dribbling again. Remember, folks, that was all planned. If the dribble comes to an end and you dribble again after that, that is a double dribble. Double, based on the fact that you started a new dribble after the other one ended. That makes it two dribbles. Got to spell these things out for the LeBron people. Remember, you're the ones who tried to defend him by saying it was a loose ball. Loss of possession. He lost control. The rulebook says if you lose control of your dribble has come to an end. Question: if the dribble has come to an end, meaning the player had to stop and regain control of the ball, how many steps can you take before dribbling again? The answer is 0. You do not get to take 2 steps before the ball touches the ground again. Wait, I'm sorry. It's hard to keep up with all the excuses. Some of you stooped so low as to say, well, I'll agree with one, but not the other ones, so that makes it okay. Can you please hold your goat to the high standard of just not cheating instead of saying you can cheat as long as you don't cheat this much or that much? Let's recap. He did double dribble because he ended his dribble and started his dribble again. He did carry the ball, which is under the umbrella of traveling, so don't pretend that it can't be both. He did take 2 more steps after he came to a halt. He violated all of those. But we haven't talked about the kickball yet. And I'm confused whether or not these comments are saying, hey, how come they didn't call a kickball? Or if you're saying that you can't say it's traveling if there was a kickball. So let's just cover kickball. Now, I've noticed in past videos that it is a revelation to many of you to learn that it is not legal to intentionally kick the ball. Yes, intent is important. So, if this was intentional, meaning LeBron did not lose control of the ball, it was just a cool form of dribbling, that makes it illegal because of the intent. If it was accidental, that means he lost control of the ball, which means the dribble came to an end. To recap, if it was intentional, that would make it a kickball and yes, would have been another uncalled violation. I don't think it was intentional, which means it was unintentional, which means he lost control of the ball, which, as we already covered, means that he had to restart his dribble after losing that dribble. Also a violation. Which brings me to this comment, which confuses me. Are you trying to say that because it was an accident that it's not a violation? Hey, as long as you didn't mean to fuck up. Who intends to fuck up, you goddamn idiots? That's why they have the rules. You aren't allowed to fuck up. I'm getting meaner as I go, but I got to spend some time on this one. This guy's telling me that carrying isn't traveling. Yes, carrying is a violation under the rules of traveling. You idiot. The NBA did not cut it out. They just aren't calling it the way that they should, which is confusing people. He didn't start his dribble over. He dribbled it from the left to the right, very low. Right. He dribbled it from his left heel, let it bounce twice, regained it, then dribbled to the right via a carry. This is really a spin move from low to high. Fuck, we are all so fucked. Oh, you people shouldn't have access to the internet. And what else is typical of the LeBron-minded people out there? Saying, hey, other people did it. Don't look at the guy that we say is the greatest. He can be bad because other people were bad. Don't you understand that you just admitted that he isn't good if you have to lower other people to raise him up? Next, you're dead wrong about how they called it in the 80s and 90s. Did the refs ever miss a travel? I'm sure they did. But for you to tell me to go and watch 80s and 90s after I just finished game breakdowns and uploaded to my own channel, you go do your homework. You're not even aware of what's on my channel, so don't tell me what I have or haven't watched. I don't even really understand what these people are trying to justify. And finally, we come to the other way LeBron James has influenced you all, besides teaching you that it's okay to cheat the game and make excuses for failure. It's to take pot shots at personal things that you don't know anything about, like when LeBron got criticized and he said everyone else has to go back to their miserable lives. You guys don't know anything about my life, whether it's amazing or miserable. But you did have to change the topic from LeBron James to trying to do personal attacks. It's interesting that LeBron fans have to defend LeBron by telling people not to criticize him instead of just holding him to a higher standard, as if those of us who love the game shouldn't have a problem with the fact that this person, who is a professional athlete in a professional sport, gets by on violating the very rules of that sport on a regular basis. And you defenders of him think that's fine. Yet another way that LeBron James has negatively influenced people. Wow. So lucky to have gotten to witness the greatness of LeBron James.